I was talking about a basketballer, US one of the greatest basketballers of all time, Magic Johnson, who failed to pass down his basketball skills and empire onto his two sons. So that's why this person gave this reply. He said, so much he has passed down his basketball, his birthright. Should be others are playing it. Oh, guy, you don't have a point. So I was saying that him as a man not passing down his basketball skills to his children and not establishing them as top basketball players too is a failure on his part. So why did I say that? The primary goal, the primary purpose of a man is to help his woman get pregnant, right? Secondly, to pass down his empire. A king must pass down his empire to a capable prince. First of all, he has to have the prince. If you don't have prince as a king, bro, what are you doing? Except you're biologically unable to do that, then you adopt. But once you're a king, you have achieved anything at all, you have to pass it down. So if you don't have a prince, that was my whole point in that video, go and get a prince. You understand? And getting too few is bad, because the ones you will get, initially, the first two may not even be interested. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying you should force your children to do what you're doing. No. If you have enough children, you have one or two that will be interested in what you're doing. If you have like 4 kids, you can't tell me that the whole 4 is refusing to do what you're doing. In this case, this Magic Johnson had a girlfriend, and they got pregnant and had a son. He broke up with that one. He had a second one. They got pregnant and had a son. The first one was a business, went and studied business. And then Magic Johnson employed his son into his business to manage it for a while. I don't know whether that one later left. After like 9 years or so, that one came back again. Was managing some of his businesses. The second son decided that he's no longer a man. He started painting his face. He's now a woman. And if you see 2 of them giants, if you see this Magic Johnson, giant man like this, that if these children had entered the basketball court, then. And this is a problem especially with we black men. It's hard to find a 3rd generation wealthy family in Africa. Among we blacks. Once somebody is rich, once the person dies, you will stop hearing about the person. You know, once in a while you hear that this one is the son of that man. Yeah. Even rich politicians. After the father is gone, the son does 1 or 2 things. That's the end of the whole lineage. They don't maintain it. Rich businessmen, it's hard. I know it exists, it's hard. We have people like Dangote that for the past 300 years, they have been passing it down from generation to generation. So the position of a man in a family is dispensable. You understand? In a city like this with, let's say, 10,000 women and 10,000 men too, 9,000 of those 10,000 men can die and the city will still function perfectly. No problem. But if even 3,000 women die in that society will collapse. That's why during war, all the men in the society will carry their swords and their guns and go to the city gates and lay down their life to make sure that no harm comes to even 1 single woman in the city. All the men are willing to die before 1 single woman dies, because the society is dependent on the woman. It's the woman that will pass down, create the next generation. So men have to protect her. So after that protection role, you have to create capable men that will protect the next generation of women. That's how societies work. So as a man, if your son turns out incapable, you are partly to blame. And I was saying in that video that the best time to train a child is the first 10 years of their life. At that 10 years, they are forming their character. If you are defending them when they do something bad, they will grow thinking that they need to be defended when they do something bad. You understand? If you don't teach them all the basics of life, basics of character, first 10 years, you have lost the child, forget it. Then another thing is that you personally don't have to do all the training of your child. That is one mistake that many people make. They always think that they alone can train your child. You alone, you and your wife, cannot train your child alone. Big mistake. You don't know everything. You know, once you cover the part you know, you send the child to somebody who can give them another training. It's called apprenticeship. So let's say you are good with discipline, you are good with teaching English, maths and stuff. You have taught your child. Once you are done with all that training, your child has to go to maybe your brother. Maybe your brother is better in business. Yeah, he's running a business. You're a local government worker. You get what I'm saying? You're a government worker. You don't know jack about business, but your brother has been running business for years. You send the child to your brother. Let them do 1 year there. Let them do 6 months here. Put them in a school close to that place. They'll be going to school. They will leave. Children learn really fast. After school, let them go to the shop and do some trade. You get what I'm saying? Same thing with, let's say you have a friend that is a musician. You send your son, go and do apprenticeship under this guy. If it's worth paying, you pay for it. They pay the guy. Let your son learn under the person. By the time you move your son around 2, 3, 4 times, they have acquired enough skill that will shock you when they become a man. In this modern time, for a boy to become a man, he has to be at least 25 years old. I'm telling you. Because before you graduate from university, you're 22 already. From that 22, you now start looking for work. You have to work for at least 2, 3 years before your finances stabilize as a man. But if the guy has enough training, he will survive in better places than you. So sometimes you can do something very well, but you will not have the discipline to impact it in your child. Maybe you're not even a good teacher. If you want to teach your child and beat him, take them to somebody else that has that discipline that can train them. So if this guy was a basketballer and he couldn't train his child, he should have taken his child to what? His friend who is also a basketballer. Maybe a retired basketball coach. Let the child learn under that. I can give you an example. Floyd Mayweather today is there today because his 3 uncles were boxers, and they weren't good boxers. If you watch their fights, they weren't really good. So his 2 uncles and his father, right? So his father started training him in boxing from day one. Day one. Every morning, his father would take him as his father is going to run to prepare for his own boxing. Later, Floyd Mayweather was running with his father. That's what a great father does. Eventually, his father went to jail. So his uncles picked him up and started training him. By the time his father was coming back from jail, Mayweather has even won his first Olympic medal. Crazy. Now look at him. He's now the greatest boxer, arguably of all time. It's arguable, you know, that Mayweather, he never lost a fight. 50 fights, 50 wins. Hands down. Then he made the most money any boxer in the world has ever made. Even till today, no boxer have made more money than him. Even till now, the money he makes from exhibitions is the entire career of many boxers. Why? This guy was trained well in all the nitty-gritty of boxing. Boxing is just not just about throwing punches. You understand? It's about knowing the business of it. This guy knows the business. All the tiny little tips and tricks. Mayweather knows it. He's so rich now. And they made sure that he gave birth on time. So now he's about 45 or so. He has grandchildren. Grandchildren. All his children, none of them picked up boxing. But if you see his grandchild now, this grandchild is like 4 years or more. 4 years old boy, they throw hands anyhow. If his father is in the ring practicing, that he will go and climb in there and start throwing punches. So it's not all your children that will naturally take over what you are doing, but if you have enough, you can. The way Mayweather solved it is that he had a child early. You understand? He had children early. Boxers usually have children early because their sports is risky. Even soldiers do it. They usually marry early. You get. By the time he was getting to 40, 45, he already had grandchildren. So a woman may not understand. I understand that she's a lady. She may not understand what a man is supposed to do. But any man watching this already understands. You have to train your child. You have to also allow other people to train your child. What you're supposed to produce or provide is a conducive, safe environment. So that somebody will not go there and teach your child nonsense. You know, or molest your child. Controlled, safe environment for the child to learn and grow, so that when it's time, they will take over from you.